evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you on your Wednesday evening. It is 9:49 Central, 10:49 Eastern on Wednesday, October 6, 2021, and we are going to do a little severe weather update for you this evening. So let's go ahead and put up the Southern Union State Community College Live Doppler HD radar this evening, and we'll show you that the tornado watch that was in effect until 10 p.m. for a good chunk of our coverage area across East Alabama and West Georgia has been canceled early. So Randolph, Clay, Talladega, Cleburne, Calhoun, Hurd, and Carroll were all released from that tornado watch about 15 or 20 minutes ago. The only counties that remain under that tornado watch will be up there in extreme northeast Alabama, extreme southwest or northwest Georgia. And then when I zoom out a little bit, you see there are several counties up there in central Tennessee, just to the southeast of Nashville, all the way up to I-40 up there between Nashville and Knoxville that remain under that tornado watch this evening. So, first of all, let's talk East Alabama and West Georgia. We have gotten away with it this evening with no severe weather at all across East Alabama or West Georgia. It's been a relatively quiet evening weather-wise across the area. Now, that's not to say that we can't still have some heavy showers or thunderstorms or even some heavy rainfall throughout the night. We certainly could. But the big problem that the state of Alabama is facing right now is over here in Birmingham. We have a flood emergency underway that's been declared by the National Weather Service. And just monitoring some of the news outlets over there in Birmingham, very serious situation unfolding over here, especially along Highway 31 from Alabaster all the way into downtown Birmingham, Highway 459 from I-20 all the way back around to Trussville, also Highway 280 from Chelsea back down to Colonnade, the Summit, and on into Birmingham. Massive flooding taking place in these areas. Number of vehicles have been stranded in the area. Several vehicles have washed away. Multiple water rescues currently underway in the city of Birmingham, also down into the Hoover area. Helena, major highways have been closed down there. It's just a mess in Birmingham, downtown Birmingham and to the south, and now over on the eastern side of Birmingham. So I know a lot of folks in East Alabama travel to Birmingham for doctor appointments, and there's a lot of business over there in Birmingham. So if you obviously, if you had any plans of going to Birmingham during the overnight hours, anywhere in central or southern Birmingham, I would highly suggest you not. And if you have plans to go to Birmingham tomorrow morning, I would get up early enough to call ahead and make sure it's okay to travel over there. Certainly the rain will be gone by then, but we're talking some radar estimates so far indicate around maybe as much as 7 inches of rain has fallen in portions of Birmingham and just south of Birmingham in the last several hours, and it is still raining there. The weather statement, the last one that I read, said that some locations have already received 7 inches of rain, and up to 7 more inches of rain are possible before this is all out of the area. So, we could certainly see some total rainfall amounts of 12, 13, 14 inches there in southern Birmingham before this is all over with tonight, and that's just incredible. So a flash flood emergency underway now for Jefferson County. That stretches all the way down into the Alabaster area, Helena, back over to 280 from Chelsea, back up in downtown Birmingham. Just major problems over there this evening. And I want to just show you that not only are they dealing with the heavy rainfall, but there is some hail in these storms as well. As we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see where the purples and the blues are. That's most likely hail falling from some of these storms and just torrential, blinding rainfall as well. Anywhere you see the yellows and the reds and the darker colors and the pinks and the blues, that is just tremendous rainfall rates. I mean, we're talking some spots up here getting up into the 60 dBz range, and that's a very strong signal returning back to the radar site. So the water is very dense right here. The liquid is very dense, returning those strong signals. And it's almost to the point to where the radar signal cannot even penetrate through this precipitation because it is so dense. And you just don't see that very often. So a major flooding event unfolding in downtown Birmingham and to the south along Highway 31 and along the I-65 corridor. At one point within the last hour, I-65 was completely shut down in both directions. It was somewhere down between the Pelham and the Alabaster exit. Unknown exactly what the problem was or is. And I don't know if 65 has been reopened or not, but we're seeing some live video coming from over there, and it was just traffic was backed up forever. Problems right there at the Galleria on 31. I know a lot of you know where that's at. That roadway that runs off of 459 right there at the Galleria is completely underwater, which is 31. And then there's just massive flooding all over the place over there. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Is that going to move into East Alabama? And I'll put the radar in motion, and you'll see that the primary motion of the precipitation is to the north, but there is somewhat of an eastern component to it. And this rain developed over Birmingham late this afternoon. And as the individual cells moved to the north, new cells would fire up to the south. It was what we refer to as back building. And it's just been training over the same area, storm after storm after storm for the last 3 to 4 hours. So I really don't think this particular complex makes it far enough to the east to get into East Alabama or West Georgia. But look what is happening over here in East Alabama. We are beginning to see some showers break out over Clay County. Now, they're very light in nature right now, and that certainly would not create a problem. But we're going to have to watch the radar trends throughout the remainder of the night to see if we start to get shower development and thunderstorm development on the eastern side of the state, and if they too start to train like what we're seeing over in Birmingham. Now, no one could have predicted this was going to happen. This is just Mother Nature being Mother Nature. But now that we know this has happened over here in Birmingham, we're going to have to really pay real close attention to what's happening in East Alabama. We relatively have been rain-free across East Alabama and West Georgia all afternoon and even into the overnight hours so far. So the atmosphere over here is a little more conducive for precipitation and thunderstorms than what you would expect in areas that have been receiving rain all day long. So keeping a very close watch on East Alabama and West Georgia as we go throughout the evening. But for right now, for the most part, there is nothing threatening East Alabama or West Georgia. You see smaller storms beginning to develop south of Birmingham, all the way down into Chilton County over into Bibb County, down to Dallas. So we're seeing some storms in northwest Autauga County, just south of Montgomery, back over into southwest Alabama near Camden. But East Alabama, other than that stuff that's just beginning to develop in Clay County, right there, other than that, there's just nothing happening in East Alabama or West Georgia. We have a few very light showers up there along I-20 just south of Villa Rica in Carroll County, but that's not a big deal. So that's where we stand right now. The tornado watch has been canceled. The Storm Prediction Center does not believe that we have a tornadic threat for the remainder of the night. But we're going to have to watch for some of these showers and thunderstorms to develop and possibly dump a good bit of rain across East Alabama and West Georgia, because we just haven't seen that much of it so far, and the atmosphere is conducive for that to happen. So we're going to keep an eye out. I think if we have any problems at all for the remainder of the night into tomorrow morning, it would be that of flash flooding. So that's something we're going to have to watch real close. So let me go up here to the chat board and see if any of you have any questions before we wrap this up. Let's see here. Let me read right quick. Hey, Jackie Ward, nice to have you in here this evening. Ashley's asking the question, what's the time frame for these storms to hit Randolph County? Well, that's the problem, Ashley. We don't have any storms that are headed for Randolph County. This stuff over here in Birmingham is going to the north. So if we do have storms in Randolph County tonight into tomorrow morning, then they haven't developed yet. Because this stuff over here in central Alabama is moving north. They're not coming toward Randolph County. So the window of opportunity is open now. As we're seeing some small storms develop in Clay County, we could start seeing that happen in Randolph County at pretty much any time. But because the storms, this is not a setup like we have a line of storms off to our west, and they're moving east at 30 miles per hour, we can do the math and tell you about what time they would arrive. That we don't have that luxury tonight because any storms that we might see in Randolph have not developed yet. So that window is open now, and it will stay with us. It'll stay open all the way through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. That's about the best answer I can give you as far as timing is concerned. Franklin, Georgia in the house. Yeah, Corey, isn't that crazy? Now, they have not had 14 inches yet. To make sure you understood what I said, some spots have already received 7 inches of rain. This is Birmingham and South Birmingham, and potentially 7 more inches of rain. So we could end up with 12, 13, 14 inches of rain before this is all said and done by tomorrow morning. But that's just, that's hurricane stuff. That's not stuff you see in Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you, Cassandra. Appreciate your kind words. Gary made a comment, it's been a bad week for logging. Well, I have to agree with that. I know more about that than you think I do. I have several loads of wood laying in my yard. I had some folks out taking down some trees that I live on the side of a mountain, and there's more rock than there is soil. So I have several trees around my home that have been concerned about for years because, well, trees fall up here on sunny days, much less when we have severe weather. So I've been slowly cutting trees back away from the house so that hopefully at some point I can get all the trees down that could potentially cause a problem. And let's see, what is today? Wednesday. What was it? Friday. The tree company was out and they took down 6 trees, and they were not able to get all of them up. And now it's so wet, they can't get their equipment back in here. And so it may be another week or so before I can get my yard cleaned up. So I know all about the logging problem right now. It's just too wet. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, the only thing I think we have to worry about now would be the possibility of flash flooding. If you live in a flood-prone area, especially, you need to be weather aware throughout the rest of the evening. But the threat of severe weather, and I told y'all this afternoon when the tornado watch was issued, that by 8, 9, or 10 o'clock, that severe threat would diminish because we've lost the heating of the day. And that's exactly what's happened. Thank goodness we didn't have any severe weather. That part of it for East Alabama was a bust. And that's what we like to see. We did have several severe thunderstorms north of Birmingham, up in the Arab, Coleman, Gadsden area, and extreme northeast Alabama remains under that tornado watch. But this has turned into a flood event. I told you that was probably going to happen also. And thank goodness so far. I hate that it's happened for anybody, but thank goodness it's over further west of us and not happening across East Alabama. But say a little prayer for our friends and neighbors over in Birmingham and South Birmingham before you go to bed tonight, because they've got an absolute mess over there. This is, again, has been declared a flash flood emergency by the National Weather Service. Multiple water rescues underway. We have water in homes. We have roadways that are completely flooded out. We have stranded vehicles all over the place. Birmingham Fire is completely inundated. They have calls stacked up that they cannot answer. Typically, fire department does the search and rescue for this type of event. Well, law enforcement is out doing it as well. That's how bad it is over there. So say a little extra word for our neighbors over in Birmingham, Alabaster, Pelham, before you turn in tonight. Well, howdy do, Australia. Nice to have you in here with us. It's 1:05 p.m. on Thursday in Australia. Hello from East Alabama and West Georgia and Northeast Georgia, from the mountains of Northeast Georgia. Good afternoon, Australia. Nice to have you in here with us. That's one of the cool things about what we do here. Of course, our weather forecast tailored for East Alabama and West Georgia because, well, those of you who live there, you understand why. Because that part of Alabama and Georgia is sandwiched in between two major television markets, one to the west being Birmingham, one to the east being Atlanta. And so weather coverage is not good for East Alabama and West Georgia. I spent 22 years on broadcast radio in East Alabama, and so with advances with modern technology now, with social media and the internet as it is, I can provide that weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia that you guys deserve, that you just can't get from the major television markets. So for those of you who are outside of our coverage area, that is our purpose. That's why we are here. And Australia loves my accent. You should hear my wife. Producer Tracy. She's from Valley, Alabama. She has a little more of a southern drawl than I do. Yeah, I think it will be on worldwide news. It probably will be later before you would see anything, because right now it's still unfolding, and it'd be kind of hard for the national networks to get any footage out of there. I mean, unless the local affiliates feed it to them, but CNN, Fox, MSNBC probably would have some video on this by tomorrow morning at least, because this is a pretty nasty situation. And, you know, this part of Alabama is very accustomed to severe weather. I mean, we deal with tornadoes, hurricanes, severe thunderstorms. We occasionally get snow here in the deep south of the United States. But this is a little bit out of the ordinary. It's not typical for us to get a thunderstorm that dumps 7+ inches of rain in a 3-hour period. And that's exactly what we've had over here south of Birmingham. Again, you're looking at I-65 from Alabaster up to Pelham. Up there, the intersection of 119 and 65, and of course 31 pretty much parallels I-65 all the way up to 459. It's just a complete washout. I mean, they're getting hit. That is rainfall rates of about 2 inches per hour there, between 1.5 inches and 2 inches per hour. And as you can see, the storms they just aren't moving very fast at all. So you can see it's just a bad situation over there. So still watching these storms over in Clay County, Alabama, and they are beginning to increase in intensity. Now, I mean, they're nowhere near severe, don't take me wrong, but we started off with just a little bitty green spot. And you see what's happened just in the last 15 minutes. Just in the last volume scan, we went from that to that in one volume scan, which is about 6 minutes. So this cell just north of Ashland is intensifying. But the biggest thing to watch right here is going to be flooding. Going to be flash flooding as this storm continues to grow. And then we have another cell just to the northeast of Lineville that's doing the same thing. We have one up there near Cheehaw Mountain. And then we have some smaller cells back here around Millerville in the southwest part of Clay County. Randolph, you're clear. Looking down into Chambers, Lee, Tallapoosa, all looking good right now. Our West Georgia counties, nothing happening there. Zoom out. We got a little bit of a shower there just north of Villa Rica, just to the northwest of downtown Atlanta. But again, nothing to be concerned about at the moment. The big problem is over here in Birmingham, and I think that moves to the north and northeast. That particular complex doesn't make it into East Alabama. Now, we'll have to see what happens with these storms that are forming, and then we'll keep an eye on these storms down here south of Birmingham as this whole system moves north and then slowly moves off to the east at the same time. It's conceivable some of that could get in here toward daybreak tomorrow morning. Producer Tracy, Australia would love to hear your accent. Yeah. All right, so the wife is affectionately known as Producer Tracy because she does assist when we get into full-blown wall-to-wall live severe weather coverage, 4-hour coverage area. She normally helps out monitoring the social networks and making sure I don't miss something when we're doing all of this. So Australia is wanting to hear your accent, so let's have a little bit.
Well, okay. How are you doing out there, Australia? Glad to have you with us. It's very cool.
See, I told you hers is a little more. She has a little more there. It's homegrown. I was
born in Lithonia, Georgia, and my parents got divorced when I was 5. So my mom moved us back to Valley, Alabama, where my parents were originally from. But my dad was still in Georgia, so I was back and forth between Alabama and Georgia. So this is what you get.
And now she lives in the mountains of North Georgia. So, and Brittany Cofield Phillips says hello too, by the way.
Hey, sweetie.
So she has a combination of Alabama, Georgia, and mountain accent. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not fixable.
It's not fixable.
No.
That is true.
No.
So, Lisa Jones says, "Go Tracy String." You've got a fan club out. So look, I'm just going to move over. It's yours.
No, that is just so sweet to have so many people.
You have to talk into the microphone.
Well, I'm trying to read the people is what I'm trying to do, because y'all are just so sweet. Everybody is just awesome. It's supporting us like this, and some of the comments y'all give are just really, really great. They're really, really sweet.
Okay, this is my show. You can go back downstairs now.
Whatever.
And she doesn't drink coffee, but she does occasionally make me a pot of coffee. So
I can't even stand the smell.
the smell. She's something she doesn't. There are. Okay. All right. So Australia says don't change your accent. No, she can't. It's that is a done deal.
That is really sweet.
All right, folks. So there you go. No severe weather threat for East Alabama or West Georgia as far as tornadoes or severe thunderstorms are concerned. Maybe some flooding problems as we go throughout the evening. Of course, I'll come back and go live immediately if in the event that we start to see some issues with flooding across the area. So again, we invite you, if you would like to support us, and we ask that you please consider doing so, go to drdonwx.com. That's our website. There on the top of the page, you can hit that donate button and support us. And also, there are links there on our page where you can download our weather app on your smartphone. So that when we go live for severe weather, you're guaranteed to get a push notification. You know, it was just Monday, I think, that Monday or Tuesday, we had a Facebook outage. So if we'd had severe weather during that time, you would not have received that push notification. So there are two things you need to do. You need to make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel, click that little notification bell so that you get a push notification from YouTube. Their process is much quicker anyway than Facebook. And then also go to our website and download our weather app so that you have a couple of 2-3 different ways of receiving weather information and notifications that we go live so that you won't miss any information in the event that we have severe weather and you need to know about it. Good idea, Chance. Set up a fan club page. I like that idea. So you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. I'm going to step aside. I'll be monitoring this throughout the rest of the evening. And if we, like I said, have a reason to come back and give you more weather information, we will. Avoid Birmingham and downtown Birmingham. If you have plans to drive over there tomorrow morning for a doctor's appointment or whatever the case may be, get up early enough so that you can call ahead and make sure that it's okay for you to come over there, because all this heavy rain that's caused all these problems in downtown Birmingham and just south of Birmingham is slowly migrating on over to the northeast. So now we're going to start having problems on I-20 up there on the northeast side of Birmingham, and that would be the area that you would have to drive through to get into Birmingham tomorrow morning. So best idea is don't go unless you absolutely have to. Call ahead before you do. Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll have your primetime forecast up for you by 6 or 6:30 tomorrow morning and let you know when all this mess is going to finally get out of here. And we get back to a gorgeous weekend on the way, folks. I'm talking lots of sunshine. The entire weekend is just going to be beautiful. If you have outdoor plans, get ready, because it's going to be a nice weekend across East Alabama and West Georgia. So y'all hang in there, and if it gets bad, I'll come back. If not, we'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Have a great evening. Bye now. Good night, Australia.